Okay, so guys, welcome to CivilPrep. I'm Krishna Gupta. So this is one of the case study on World Social Report 2025, which is specifying population as a social capital. Okay, so this topic it is very important from the population geography. It specifies an area of social capital and quality of life. Now, talking about social capital, it is one of the very important part for human beings. Okay, not only human beings, for any community which is a social community. For example, ants is a social community. Bees, they are social communities. Okay, termites, they are social community. Certain birds, they are living in a social manner. Okay, so they need to have trust over each other to build that community. If they do not have that trust, so it will result into the failure of that particular community or species or a system. Okay, so human beings as being a social animal, so they also live in a social community. But the question is, are we having enough trust on each other so that we can have a very healthy lifestyle, a very good quality of life? So this was one of the question which was raised, okay, which was raised by some of the global institutes, some of the people, they have been asked this question, okay, throughout the world. For example, the developed countries, the developing countries, and the answers were quite stark. They were quite surprising. Okay, so let's look at this topic. Let's understand that the social capital, how it is varying over the different region of the world. Okay, what are the geographical variation? How this trust factor it is changing from time to time. Okay, so the countries who are having good trust, the people who are having good trust on the government, the good trust on the institutional mechanisms, okay, the trust over the other people, the communities. So it is defining those people, the cultural part, the man-environment relationship part, okay, the behavioral part, okay, of that particular person. Okay, so this is defining a lot of things. In that community or in that state or country. Okay, so let's understand the World Social Report now. So this World Social Report, it was basically conducted by UNDESA and UNU-WIDER, okay, which has highlighted global inequality, insecurity, and social trust decline over the world. Okay, so these are the three important part here: global inequality, insecurity, and social trust decline. For example, the equality between genders, okay, the different, we can say, the class of society, okay, the different, the, we can say the social strata, okay, so these things are facing inequality. Insecurity with respect to political, economic. Then we have, we can also add up here the insecurity with respect to language, with respect to nationality, etc. Okay, so social trust rate is also declining. For example, with respect to the trust of people on each other, with respect to, we can say, certain promises, the value of words. Okay, so these things are also on the decline in the contemporary time period. Okay, so population here, it is not just seen as a number, but it is also seen as a source of the social capital. Okay, like if we see from one of the perspective, like we can see here a case of two countries. For example, one is India and one is Norway. Okay, so in Norway, if there is an employee or if there is a children or a parent is there, if they're going to work, for example, there is an employee, okay, if he is going to work, so if one day the employee is not feeling well, he will call his boss and he will say that, I'm not well, and I won't be able to come to work today. So the manager will not ask that what happened, what are your reports, what are you seeing a doctor or anything else, the manager will directly say, okay, don't take stress, just relax and look after your well-being. So that is a priority for a country. Okay, so they will say that part there. But the various developing countries or certain other countries also, what will happen if the same scenario is repeated, that if an employee is not able to reach office, so the office managers or the office boss, they will call the employee. Okay, they will ask that what happened, why aren't you able to come to work? Okay, what is the issue, are you seeing a doctor? The HR might also call for the certain, or the manager can call for uh, the reports, if you have visited a doctor, if you have consulted someone, if you are looking if you are looking good or bad. So there is an issue with respect to trust in this part. Okay, so in one country we can say the trust is quite very high, and in the other country the trust is very bad here. Okay, the trust within the system is not quite bad. So in that case, what will happen? The employee will also think that the company is not trusting us. Then how we can work with that company? How we can stay together? Because in one or the other scenario, the employee is also having certain rights, certain feelings, certain conditions. So everything is there. So in this scenario, it becomes quite difficult for people to live together if there is a trust issue. So this is one of the area, one of the region which is specifying us that the population numbers, it is one thing, but the trust build up in the society, it is very important thing. Okay, next thing, it also calls for equity, social economic security, and solidarity for sustainable development. For example, the sustainable development for environment, it is just a sustainable part. Okay, but the social sustainable part is also quite important, which can be provided with the help of equity. For example, uh, the resources which are provided to one individual shall also be enjoyed by all the individuals of the citizens, okay, of that country. So this is one part of the equity, that there should be equity by all the people. Next thing, this economic security should be there. Likewise, if any person is facing a financial issue, then the government should come up, the social group should come up to help that person. Okay, the solidarity for the sustainable development should also be one of the part, that the future have to be very sustainable. It has to be taken up, it has to be built in a sustainable way by the people who are living in the contemporary time with respect to building trust, because they have to work together, we have to work together to build a sustainable future for us. So how it can be done? It has to be done today. And when it will be done? When we have a good trust amongst ourselves. So this is also specified in the report. Now, certain highlights and data statistics are provided here. Number one, 60% of global population is struggling with the life satisfaction. Okay, so 60% of the global population, they are feeling that they are not satisfied with whatever is going on in their life, with respect to studies, okay, with respect to the economic background they are from, with respect to the social background they are from, the country from which they are from. Okay, for example, the Southeast Asian people, they have a very high affinity to move towards the developed countries. Okay, the affinity of the developed countries, they are very high for having a very good social well-being life. Okay, they have to have a very equitable life. Then there are various other things which are being provided, which are being present in from state to state or from country to country, depending upon what are the requirements of the society, on which parameter the society has developed, and what they have achieved, and what they are trying to achieve in future. Okay, now next thing, the 12% are suffering and reported significant discontent. Okay, so here we see that there are various mental health issues are arising in the contemporary time. With respect to, you might have heard about the anxiety, the depression, okay, the various mental issues, the stress part, it is increasing day by day. I've seen, in fact, I have also felt in a certain time period that the stress is actually very high in this UPSC preparation. Okay, we have a kind of a situation where we need to speak a lot of things, we know a lot of things, but actually we are in the certain condition that we are not able to communicate ourselves, and the things they just lie within ourselves. So this results into the stressing conditions. Okay, so we need to be very much social, and we need to express our feelings, that what we are feeling we need to express it to have a very stress free life. Okay, stress free life is needed here for this preparation part also. Okay, so this is also one of the part where the discontent is also seen. Now third thing, which is with respect to the economy of the people, over 2.8 billion people, they survive on 2.15 to 6.85 dollars per day. That is economically insecure. Now let's see this number. $2.15, it almost represents to around 200 rupees, and $6.85, it represents to around 600 rupees in the contemporary time. Okay, it is quite not the fixed, but it is a variable number depending upon the USD to INR changing ratio. Okay, so 200 to 600 rupees, it is quite less. Actually, it is quite less in the contemporary time, because we are saying that to live a very basic life also, we need to have a at least good house. Okay, basic bare minimum I'm saying, a bare minimum house, electricity, then basic amenities like we can say mobile phone, internet, then good food, then good water, potable water, okay, good transportation. Okay, so bare minimum things are required for our sustenance. So we need to have certain savings also, certain investments also. We need to enjoy certain part of our life, certain part of the salary or whatever income we are earning. So we need to see that the bare minimum which has been earned by the people, it has to be higher than this $6.85 per day. Okay, so that it will be viable for the population to have a secured economic life. Now next part, 65% live in countries with rising economic inequality. Rising in economic inequality, this is one of the very important part. We will see that the countries like USA, China, in fact India, then we have complete African countries, then we have certain other countries for example from Middle East. Okay, so here we see that the inequality in the income, it is rising in the contemporary time. Okay, after this 50% plus have reported little or no trust in the government. Okay, this is one of the most important issue. For example, if you are living in a house, and if this house, wherever you are living right now, for example, if you are living on rent, so if you do not have the trust on the we can say the owner of the house, so at that time period you will be almost every time you will be at stress that what will happen next, will I will be kept in this house next day or I will be thrown out. If what happens if the rent is increased, what will happen if uh, there is certain issues with respect to uh, the basic amenities like water, electricity, and if it is not taken care by the house owner. So there is various issues are being there. If you are living in this stress that what will happen tomorrow, what the owner of the house can do to me. Okay, if there is any there is issues there, so there it is resulting into fight every time. So this fights, it will result into the insecurity, it will result into the higher insecurity. So this is also the case with the government also. If we have lack of trust in government, so whenever you are going for any kind of work, any kind of paperwork, any kind of for example, for marriage part, there will be government intervention. For any you can say for any economic activity, there will be government intervention. Okay, you have to pass through all the government phases, okay, stages, to set up your industry or to set up your company, to set up your we can say any bank accounts. So everything is there. So this will result into certain kind of issues. You cannot live a stress-free life at that particular time. So therefore, more than 50% of people in the world, they have specified that they have little or no trust in government. This is a very big issue. Okay, this is a very big issue in contemporary time. Okay, for example, the countries like we can say in the contemporary time, the Sri Lanka, okay, which has been which is the Bangladesh. Okay, here the civil disruption have taken place. Okay, the countries of Middle East, Syria, then we can say Yemen, Oman, then African countries, Ethiopia. So there are various civil war issues are undergoing in these countries, and yes, there is disruption, and the government is not favoring the citizens. So it is resulting into certain kind of distrust between the government and the citizens here. Okay. Now, when we look at this complete picture from the perspective, what perspective can be applied here? So, for example, one of the perspective is economic one. So here the population network, that is the social capital, it boosts productivity, innovation, and resilience. For example, if you or one of your friend, they are living in United States of America, okay, and what will happen if you say to your friend, if there is any opportunity for me, then just call me, I will be there in USA to join the company. So after few months, yes, there is a vacancy and he calls you, and you go to USA, you join the job and you get a better pay there. Okay, so how this has happened? This has happened because of the population network. Okay, there is a network which is present. Okay, so it is acting as a social capital. So referring employment to a company, providing job to someone who you are knowing, this is a one of the good part, and it is basically one of the part from the economic perspective. Then there is sociological perspective also, like community cohesion, it enhances cooperation and social order. Like if there are different people who are living in different countries or different states, for example in India there are different states. So if there is certain skirmishes in between the people, for example from the northern state, the southern state, the northeastern state, okay, so if the people they are living together, the people they are meeting each other, so they will be know each other better. There will be the cultural, we can say the cultural diffusion will be quite high here. So I'll be writing here the diffusion of culture, it will be high here. And when this diffusion of culture is very good, it results into the calming effect. Okay, it results into the reduction of stress from the people. Okay, so this is one of the very important part where the community cohesion, it is quite important. In political perspective, trust and engagement among populations, it also influences the policy legitimacy. For example, if a policy is quite good for people, so it will be helping, the government will be helping the people to grow. The people will be also accepting those policies, so that uh, they know that government is doing good for the people, so they will be accepting it. Then next is developmental perspective. Social capital, which is embedded in population structures, promote inclusive growth and equity also. So overall, this will result into the development of society in a particular part. Okay. Now, next, if we talk about the theories, so under the theory part, we have social capital theory. Here, Robert Putnam, he is the most important person. Pullman, very important. Bourdieu. Okay, but the most important person here is Robert Putnam, who has given this theory of social capital. Okay, the next is human capital theory. This is provided by Schultz. He is the most important person. Then Becker, which is from the perspective of education and health, improving population quality and economic growth. Then social trust theory, which is given by Francis Fukuyama. Okay, trust enables efficient governance, low transaction cost, and development in a society. Then social cohesion theory, it is given by Durkheim. Okay, make it a star mark, very important. Then Parsons. Shared norms among population segment reduces fragmentation, quite important. Then social stratification theory, provided by Marx and Max Weber. Make it a star mark here. Unequal population structures, they hinder the social mobility and capital formation. So here we can see the list of theory, the list of theorists also, who have played quite significant role in providing the theories and what their postulates are, where they can be applicable. When we talk about the models, we have certain models here. like social inclusion and exclusion continuum, which shows the degree of population engagement and marginalization. Quite important. And sustainable livelihood framework uses population capacities and networks as assets for resilience. Quite important. Capability approach by Amrit Sen, you might be knowing about this. So it is used for the human development, emphasizes population potential through freedom and opportunity. Then Kuznets curve. Here, the inequality may rise during the growth before stabilizing, linked to social capital development patterns. So this is also quite important. So these models, they are applied over the social capital formation. Now, when we talk about laws, so with respect to the economic part, we have Gini coefficient. Gini coefficient you have also studied in economics. So it measures the income inequality, which impacts population cohesion. The law of social change. The societies evolve as population-based social structures adapt to economic and institutional transitions also. Then Engel's law. Income influences consumption patterns, highlighting economic stratification in populations. For example, the rich, they have different consumption pattern, okay, higher consumption, while the poor, they have lower consumption pattern. Then Zipf's law on least effort. It reflects the preferences for simple information, influencing population level, disinformation, and dynamics, which is provided by Zip. Okay, then we have a case study here. The case studies from different regions of the world. So first we'll be talking about India. So in India, we see that the inequality here, it is rising. For example, the 52% of the wealth of the nation, it is controlled by 1% rich people. Okay, so here we see that rest of the 99%, they have 48% of wealth. Okay, if I'll talk about the top 5% rich, they are having controlling almost 90% of resources or wealth, and rest 95% people, they are having just 10% of wealth. So this is one of the condition which is present in India, and this is also provided by Oxfam report in 2023. Then under the Latin America, that is Brazil and Chile, here the polarization it is reflecting the breakdown in the cross population bridging capital. Okay, so this is one of the issue which is also seen in the Latin America. In Africa, the youth unemployment, it isolates the demographic segments, weakening the collective efficacy of the nation or of the continent also in this scenario. Then the Nordic countries, there are strong institutional trust and social capital, enhancing population well-being, as we have discussed in the previous part also. For example, Norway, it is part of the Nordic countries. So how it is reflecting in the work culture also, so it can be seen there. So these are the various countries, the cases which we can see here. Okay. Then when we look at the geographical based solutions for the problems of the social capital, we can see the central place theory, it can be applied here with respect to planning, including urban spaces to facilitate population, interaction, and various services. The growth pole model, strategically investing in lagging regions to reduce population-based disparities. For example, in the world case, we can see Africa, South Asian region. In India, we can see the regions like Chhattisgarh, Rajasthan, then Madhya Pradesh, Bihar. Okay, so here we can invest. Ecological footprint model where ensuring population-based development remains sustainable. Okay, so whatever the resources being enjoyed in the contemporary time, so if the polarization occurs, so majority of the resources it will go to the rich, and the middle class they will decline, and they will be shifted towards the poor class, and there will be kind of social distress, it will increase in future. Then core-periphery model by the Fredman, which is addressing the uneven population-based access to opportunities. For example, a person living in US have an access to the various opportunities, various facilities, okay, and a lot of things in life. But a person living in India or China, They have limited access to resources. So this is one of the part where the core periphery model works. Then institutional reforms like redesign policies to enhance population participation and rebuild social trust. Okay, so this is an important part to rebuild the social trust in a particular region or a particular part of a world. Okay, so these are certain geographical based solutions to this topic here. So friends, this is one of the topic from the population geography, the social capital. Okay, for further discussions, okay, you can also you can join the Telegram channel. For more videos, you can also look into the YouTube channel. If you want to participate in the daily means answer writing, if you want to look at the daily events which are taking place, you can also visit to the website, that is civilprep.in. You can get access to various content. For if you're writing means 2025, we are having a case study program where we are daily discussing case studies from the various topics. Okay, we are also looking for models, theories, laws, perspective from which the case study can be applied. We are having daily mains answer writing live discussion. Okay, various students are joining that program, so you can also join that. Okay, so guys, see you tomorrow. We'll be coming up with further articles from the various other topics. So good day and take care.